Hey guys, welcome to the February show and tell. Hope everyone is doing well and staying healthy and happy. For those of you on the East Coast of the US, hope that you are digging out of all of this snow by now. If this is your first time joining us for our monthly show and tell meetings, this is a chance for our global team to come together. We basically share what's in our current zeitgeist, what is inspiring us, what we are noticing patterns in. And in addition to being just a really cool meeting full of cool stuff, it actually really does lead to things like cultural macro trends and things that we notice further down the line. We do this monthly. We will be doing our next one on Wednesday, March 3rd. And you can use the same link for that meeting as well. So go ahead and put that on your calendar. Give me 1 second and I am going to transition to our links for today that our editors will be sharing. And I think first up, we have our Director of Beauty, now a Floridian, Melissa Hago. Hi, Hago.
Hi, yes, it's nice and sunny here, so no complaints. So yeah, I was inspired by things not really related to beauty, but we always like to look beyond beauty when we're looking for inspiration. So this, I love the visuals. They're from the artist called Tang Nan Nguyen. She's Vietnamese, and her inspiration was this dreamscape emerge of fantasy along with tradition in celebrating her Vietnamese culture. So when she described the work, she said that, she relied on the color of flowers and leaves and just like the surrounding of nature combined with this motif from her Vietnamese culture. And what was important for her was the fact that they come from the feelings inside and the emotions inside of each of us. So I just thought the colors are beautiful, like the imagery was really, really like dreamy. So I wanted to share this one.
I love it. I wish that she illustrated a children's book.
I know, it's just like, you just want to like rest when you're looking at this. The second one's a little quirky. It speaks to sustainability, but I feel like in a way that hasn't been spoken to by using kind of like this fortune teller perspective. So it's a little bit tricky, but it's super educated.
Welcome.
So yeah, you can just kind of click around.
Thank you for coming to see me. You know, old age can be so lonesome. What? I don't look old? Well, you might be surprised, but I am 4.5 billion years old. Well, thanks for the compliments. I do.
So yeah, so they have, you keep clicking on it. Yeah, she has like these cards and like, it's all based on, sustainability. So it's like super, like at first I was like, oh, am I going to get a tarot reading? And then I'm like, oh no, it's just telling me about recycle, reuse. And there's like a part of it where it tells you what's bad for the environment, what's good for the environment. So just an interesting side in a different way to kind of show sustainability. So I thought it was kind of fun. If you hear squeaky toys, it's my puppy. Sorry about that.
I was going to say.
She's playing in the background. And then this last one is this video by designer Juana Martin. It's her spring 21 collection called Cordoba Collection. So I personally love Cordoba. It's in Spain. It's one of my favorite cities. And I love that it was a collaboration with UNESCO. So she showcased the history of the city along with obviously her collection and also had some references to flamenco. But again, you can play maybe like 30 seconds or a minute of the video, but I love that it showcased parts of Cordoba. So like the mosque, the old town, the patios. Yeah, so I would just play a little bit of it because it's beautiful, but I really recommend watching the whole thing. It'll transport you since not many of us are traveling right now.
Spring is here. Orange blossoms brightly the street.
So you get a
That's
sense,
beautiful.
but it's a beautiful, beautiful video. Thank you.
Thanks, Heiko. Appreciate it. Now up is Hallie. Hi, Hallie.
Hello. So I'm Hallie, the Director of Accessories, coming at you from our new FS NYC headquarters. So this one is the Webster Art House. So the Webster is the store in Soho, but this is a virtual gallery and store space. It's basically an interactive experience done in collab with Superficial Studios. So it follows this trend of immersive and interactive digital shopping experiences. If you want to click on, if you want to go back to the main gallery and click on a couple of them, the Bottega one is amazing, obviously, because it's accessories, and I just love the design of it. It's not the best kind of immersive experience that we've seen, but the colors and kind of the visuals of it are a great confirmation of our design aesthetic Nourish from spring summer 22. So if you click on the shoe, just say it's kind of choppy because it is over Zoom. So if you want to check it out, it's really nice. But you can click and change the color of the shoe to see different colorways. You can kind of drag it around to see the full 3D the 3D look of it, and you can, all of it is shoppable on the site. So if you click shop now, it'll take you to the Webster site online, and you can shop the different accessories. So we love the soothing colors are just really nice. It's kind of this calming escapism. So this whole setup online right now, it has 6 unique brands. I would also go to the Laquan Smith. You kind of move it around the space, the parking lot. It's really cool. It's kind of like you're driving in a car. There's like a radio station that the designer actually pulled a playlist for riding around in. So it's literally just going to take you driving around. You can also look around the space while you're driving. You can park the car and get out and look at the actual clothes. So yeah, just shoppable 3D renders of the products. We've seen this kind of digital experiences taking place, especially over COVID, but I like the aesthetic of this one and kind of how each designer got to create their own space and their own look that goes along with their product.
Yeah, it's really cool. I actually like the simplicity of it. I mean,
it like follows the aesthetic of the actual store too. So I thought that was great, kind of cross marketing and keeping it really cohesive.
Yeah, I love the Webster. Thanks, Hallie.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of us are still global, but we do now have a new office in New York City that we're all looking forward to heading into soon. So glad you guys came to us from there today. Next up is Carrera. Hi, Carrera.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carrera, and I'm the lead of the Culture and Consumer Insights section. My first link today is musical zombies, ? Essentially, it's along the lines of what we've been seeing. Maybe you saw it first in Star Wars, where they're bringing back to life actors who have passed away through CGI. Now they're bringing back singers through AI. So they're using the training database of, in this particular example, they're using Kim Kwang-suk, who's a very famous South Korean singer who has now passed away. And they use his songbook, and they also train the AI on 700 other Korean songs to really put together an accurate portrayal of his voice and have him sing new songs. So this article talks about that. It also speaks about, what did the family think? You know, were they going to be upset about it? They actually really appreciate it. In this case, I think in many different cases, families will react differently. But in this case, they were very grateful to, hear their loved one once again. And then in general, this kind of relates back to something that my team has been working on in our macro trends, specifically creative tool expansion, in the sense that our creative tools are expanding. We have more things and tools to work with when we create art. And this is just another example. If you wanted to make a new song, but you wanted Johnny Cash to sing it, that is available to you as an artist. I suppose if you pay for the rights to his voice. But the possibilities of art are expanding, and one might even, as a listener to music, be able to listen to a song by Miley Cyrus and then maybe click a button and see what it would sound like if Michael Jackson sang it, just through the power of AI. So I think the possibilities here are really exciting, and some crazy kooky stuff will be available to us in the next, I'll call it 5 years. I'd have to look into it, but that's my assumption. So the next one is the politics of dude food. And I got so interested in this article. It's an amazing essay slash interview about just identity in food and how we see, and I'm sure you've seen it just by looking at this photo of this burger. It's just like, dude food is essentially this. It's like the burger with the like 7 stacks of bacon, or, you know, I don't know if anyone's ever watched on YouTube Binging with Bad Bish in particular, but this whole genre of like male cooking shows that are like, you know, bacon wrapped roast beef dipped in ranch with chicken wings on top, like and really this really like looks into what's going on here and why it's called dude food. And it's almost like um in a world where cooking might be coded as feminine, to like regain it back, it has to be kind of like painful or like a struggle to eat. And so I just thought it was so interesting. They also talk about how a lot of food trends have to be rebranded for men. So like dieting is coded as feminine, so but intermittent fasting is coded as masculine, because you know you can like relate it back to how we used to live a long time ago, where we wouldn't be eating meals as in the sense that we are now. And the same thing with like paleo, or even just the rebranding of Diet Coke to Coke Zero to appeal to a wider audience. So I think identity in food is fascinating, and I love to see it examined.
I read this morning, and I thought it was perfectly appropriate going into Super Bowl weekend. A lot of these foods are marketed and consumed. So
I love it.
yeah, really good article.
And then my final one here is just at Fashion Snoops, we speak a lot about protection and the need to have protections in products. Obviously, as a reaction to coronavirus, you know, we see a lot of antimicrobial fabrics or just protection behaviors in general. This pair of jeans is fascinating. It has an airbag built into it, so that when you're riding a motorcycle, you have essentially this protection on your body. The way it works is that it has like a piece of it that plugs into the motorcycle, so that when you fall off, it knows that you've come like unattached, kind of in the same sense that a treadmill might work. And then it triggers the airbag, and you are in some sense protected on your lower half of your body. So I think it's a really interesting to anyone who's, you know, developing denim, to see, you know, this kind of far-flung idea of protection in denim, and maybe even what this might spur on further.
Yeah, and I'm sure for people that ride motorcycles, preventing road rash is of the utmost importance.
Mm-hmm. That's all from me.
Carrera, good links. Next up is Chelsea, coming to us from NYC. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, I'm Chelsea. I'm a youth editor here. I'm also here at our new headquarters. So my first link is something that I came across on Dezeen. So this is the Build Your Own football kit. So Japanese studio Nendo teamed up with Molten, which is a sports equipment company, to develop this soccer ball that doesn't have to be inflated. It actually is assembled by hand from 54 interlocking pieces, kind of like Legos. And it aims to make soccer more accessible to children around the world who might not be able to buy and maintain a soccer ball if it pops or deflates. So the solution was this simplified, non-inflatable ball. It's composed of this recycled polypropylene and synthetic resin. So it's actually soft to the touch and will bounce just like a soccer ball. And it's takes from Japanese crafts where they interlocked bamboo. And according to Nendo, it stays intact even if a piece falls off. So that helps with the maintenance as well. You just have to replace the piece rather than replacing the whole ball. And even if a piece breaks, they say that it won't break in a fracture that could hurt someone if they're playing in the middle of a game. And the full kit also comes with this picture book style instructions. So that's designed to be understood by children from across different culture and language boundaries. And then they can also be customized by color. So I loved that this was something that I never would have thought of. I always thought that a soccer ball would have to be inflated, but this makes it so much easier for people who don't have the means to maintain inflating soccer balls all the time. And it also comes laying flat in a box. So you could fit like 50 of these in one box rather than how much room a soccer ball or even a deflated soccer ball would take up in a box. So it's really, really great. I'd like to see how this innovates in the future, if it could be a basketball, if it could be a football. So it's really cool. Okay, so my next one is just a short little Instagram post that I saw. If you're not following Maison Cleo, I would definitely recommend it. They are a small French studio composed of a mother and daughter duo. And they do this made to order slow fashion sort of model. So they make the clothing once you order it, so they're not overproducing anything. They make these really cute little peasant blouses and wool sets and stuff like that. But they just posted this post where it looks like a little Y2K like video game that you would like pick your outfit, and then it says you'll be so beautiful, have a nice day. And I just thought it was interesting because this is a fairly elevated brand. The price point's pretty high, but they chose this little Y2K aesthetic, so it's showing how that's really influencing so many facets of design and so many brands. So I thought it was really cute, and definitely follow Maison Cleo if you haven't. They're really great. And then the last one I came across a while ago. You don't have to click on the video. I would click on the first link if you want, because I don't have any timestamps in the video. I just linked it because it's really cool. It's like 40 minutes long. But this is the preservation of an 18th century cottage. So this design studio and couple wanted to preserve this cottage, so they just sort of encapsulated it within a modern building. So the strategy wasn't to renovate or repair it. They just wanted to preserve it perfectly. So it includes the rotten timbers, the dead ivy that's in there, there's bird nests, there's cobwebs, existing dirt. So this is exactly how it was standing, and they basically just encapsulated it within a modern building. And the couple lives and works there. So it's a working building. There's bathrooms, there's offices, but they kept as much of the existing structure as they could. So there's like a high performance outer envelope. There's windows, roofs, but and it's actually pretty sustainable as well. The heating is provided by 2 modern wood burning stoves. The fuel comes from an adjacent forest, and the electricity is supplied from an array of I'm not sure how to say this. I'm assuming that they're solar panels. But yeah, I just thought this was incredible. I would definitely recommend looking at the video if you have time. The man walks you through every room, everything they decided to keep and why, and it's just so incredible and beautiful. And they did such a great job. So I just wanted to share. I'm so inspired by this.
Yeah, thank you. This is my favorite link of today. If I had a trophy, I'd give it to you. As someone that likes to write, I immediately was picturing like some kind of cool witch living there or something, like, this modern structure with this old, centuries old building inside. But I loved it. Thank you, Chelsea, for sharing that.
Of course, it's so cool too when they show you the bathroom. It's like this 18th century cottage, and then you go into this super modern bathroom. It's just so cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Chelsea. All right. Next up is Erza. Hi, Erza.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erza. I'm a culture editor. So my first link here is called Neom's The Line. It's a complete redesign and revolution in urban living. I'll let you guys see the video, and it's pretty neat.
Contemporary cities couldn't cope with growth. The contemporary city needs a full redesign. What if we removed cars? What if we got rid of streets? What if we innovated in the public space? What if we built around nature instead of over it? What if everything you needed was always a 5-minute walk away? What if invisible technology generates carefree and open urban space? What if sustainability was not a goal, but a given? What if we replaced outdated urban services with new services driven by artificial intelligence? What if we built The Line? A 170-kilometer revolution in urban living. Protecting the Earth's most stunning nature while creating unmatched livability. A home to all of us. Welcome to The Line. Neom.
So this infrastructure will be home to about 1 million residents in the length of 100 miles, and it's integrated into nature. Something that we've been talking about in our macro Return to Wild, which is all about going back and living in harmony with the earth. This project is in Saudi Arabia. It's funded by the Crown Prince, and construction will actually begin this year. And I think this is just a great example of what's to come for urban planning.
Super cool. Thank you, Erza.
So my next example is on this forensic ecologist, Patricia Welchshire. She uses nature to solve crimes. So we've been talking a lot about design inspired by nature and biomimicry, but this is another example of how we can look to nature for solutions. And so for more than 40 years, she's been helping solve high-profile crimes in the UK by examining tiny particles of pollen, plants, and fungi under her microscope. This explains how nature marks every step we take and how the landscape we pass through leaves imprints. And she explained that just a short walk in the woods becomes registered on a person's clothes and bodies, like a coat rubbing against a tree collects the tiny spores and pollen. Boots gather soil, and hair brushing past twigs and leaves picks up this trace material. And she's even collected pollen grains from nasal cavities to figure out crimes. And like, you know, we do live in a surveillance society, and we normally think of it as technology, but your movements can be tracked by more than cameras.
This is cool. I wish someone would make a TV series inspired by solving crimes with nature. Thanks, Erza. Cool links. Appreciate it. Next up is Mallory from our beauty team. Hi, Mallory.
Hi, everyone. So my first link I saw scrolling through Twitter the other day, and I feel like I'm constantly sharing miniature callouts, but I just love them. They're such a fun trend. And I saw this on Twitter. If you want to scroll down, it's a whole thread. So this is by a guy whose parents during quarantine decided to make their own miniature modern house. So if you click into a couple of these pictures, if you go up a little bit, yeah. There you can see the design and the attention to detail is impeccable. I love that it has this kind of 70s cozy vibe that we've been seeing from some recent rebrands like Burger King. And you can see that it's so realistic. The house really has this lived-in feel. If you're on Twitter, go on this thread, check out all the images. He also includes a lot of great details that his parents put into this quarantine project. Like the carpets are all hand knitted by his mom. The garage door really works. There's functioning electricity. There's a boiler room and like an attic. It's super cute. I'm ready to move in and shrink myself down to size. So I just love it. I think it plays into so many trends we've been seeing, like nostalgia, miniatures, escapism, crafting during quarantine. So I thought this was just so fun.
I can't believe the amount of time and effort that went into this. It's insane.
It's so cute. I could move in. Like I'm ready.
Yeah, for those of you that have joined us for the last year of show and tells, probably miniature anything has come up more than almost anything else. So it's definitely like a look into this interesting, fantastical realism in many ways.
There's a garage door going down, which is just like so cute.
Wow.
I can't stand it.
Should be in a museum. It's amazing.
And then my next link is this really cute self-care kit. So I followed this Instagram page for a while. Actually, if you want to go to, I don't know if it'll show you the, I thought I linked to the sites, the selfcarekit.com.
I got it. Thanks.
Anyway, so this is an Instagram page called the self_care kit that I followed for a while. They have a really great feed of just gorgeous pastel inspiration, like motivational quotes, cute little illustrations that are almost sticker-like, very like 90s, millennial nostalgia. And they just launched a self-care kit with a journal and also like positive affirmations.
Sorry,
stickers.
Mallory, it won't let me. I keep trying.
Oh dang, I think I have a password, but it'll be launching officially in a few days. It just launched. I think you need a password or something. Sorry, thought I'd plug that in, but they just launched this and you should be able to see it any day now. And we've been following journaling for a long time within beauty and wellness as a way to reflect. And I love how this page combines like these, affirmations and also these reflective activities for you to do. And it's not just a journal, it's also a coloring book that we've seen. And so just really cute, interactive way to explore your mental health. And I think actually, you saw one below, but if you want to go to the Instagram, I can link that. I'll link the Instagram in the doc so you can check it out afterwards with the link. Sorry about that.
Okay. Here we go.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah.
So if you so if you scroll down, you see it's just like very pastel, very these illustrations with these like cute little sayings. We did a little hunt now on them on the beauty section a while ago. They're super cute, they're super popular, and basically she channeled this aesthetic and this positivity into this cute little kit with proactive, activities to do. And so just love it. Speaks to so many trends we're seeing right now: calming, journaling, self-care, soul care. So
Yeah.
I'm all about this.
Cute. Thanks, Mallory. All right. Next up is me. So I'm Michael. I'm director of menswear. So the first thing I wanted to showcase is this new super cool collab that Nike did for their Dunk with a really awesome store in Chicago called Notre. And I just wanted to showcase, it was all inspired by blue collar workers, workwear. I linked to the press release here so I can kind of take you through some of the photos. But they really wanted to get across that hardworking Midwestern attitude through elevated shoe design. So they were inspired by work shirts, and they wanted to kind of make something that represented durable materials and the triple stitch details that we associate with hardworking blue collar boots and clothing. So they teamed up for two versions of the Dunk high top. So they've mixed shaggy suede uppers, heavy canvas. There's a really great earthy leather, and it all kind of complements the super clean color palette. And what I really liked is that, and I'll take you through some of the photos, Nike never allows anyone to kind of redo or tweak the famous iconic swoosh logo, but they did in this instance. And so if you go here, so the store, Notre, they're famous for their kind of handshake logo. So they were incorporated here into the Nike swoosh that you can see. So really, really cool. It's available at several different retail outlets. If you can find it, it went on sale a week or so ago, but just wanted to showcase that. I really liked the use of materials in that. My next link is on a documentary that premiered last night on HBO called Fake Famous. I linked to the trailer here. We don't have to watch it now. I already have it on my DVR. There's a plethora of articles that you can find today, including the New York Times that wrote about it. But I'll just tell you about it really quickly. So it was a year-long experiment where there's a really famous journalist named Nick Bolton. And so what he did is he attempted to turn 3 20-somethings with super small social media followings into bona fide Instagram influencers. I thought this was a great confirmation of one of our macro trends on Fashion Snoops from 2020 called Selfishly Aware, which you see I mentioned here. And so basically they did this survey when he was working for the New York Times, and he found that kids in America want to be influencers more than any other career right now. That's the number one thing that they want to be over doctors and teachers and anything else. They want to be social media influencers. So the project was really about kind of exposing the lies that social media really perpetuates. And so they, of course, buy the followers and everything. I think they put out an ad in 2019 calling for people that want to be famous, and 5,000 people applied for this project. And so they took 3 people from 3 different walks of life, an assistant, a designer, and an actress. And they basically just like played the numbers game and made them famous overnight. So the documentary is about that. It premiered last night on HBO. You can watch it on HBO's website right now, but definitely check it out. My next link is about a new exhibition that I thought was super beautiful. It opened this week in Brooklyn, or last week in Brooklyn at the Watermark in Brooklyn Heights. So it's called Not Another Second, and it's really meant to profile stories of LGBTQ plus seniors. Not Another Second is really referring to all of the years and time that they lost by being closeted for much of their adult life. Now, there is a reason why you don't see LGBTQ when you see the exhibition, and I read the explanation for that. And then, of course, And of course, Q standing for queer. For a lot of these people who are senior citizens, queer has a really negative connotation. It's very different from millennials and Gen Z that kind of embrace the word queer. So they did not include it out of respect in that case. But there's a film you can watch. It's 13 minutes long. You can see all about their stories. If I go right here, you'll kind of see that it's just meant to showcase how they made so many sacrifices and contributions through the years. I thought there were some interesting statistics here that I wanted to share with you. 21% of older LGBTQ adults have acted as caregivers of friends compared to only 6% of heterosexual counterparts. 34% of them fear having to recloset themselves when seeking senior housing, which is a really big deal. 48% of couples experience adverse treatment when seeking senior housing. This is a really, really big deal. You can find lots of articles about it. And there are increasing numbers of housing for seniors, for LGBTQ seniors around the US especially, and in Europe to try to mitigate this issue. And then 20% of them avoid medical care out of fear of discrimination. So it's really, really heartwarming to read some of these stats. As you go through, you'll see many, many other stats about them and their lives. But I definitely, you don't even have to be in Brooklyn or New York to go check this out. They pretty much put the entire exhibition online. You can watch the 13-minute video where you hear all about them. But I really love the idea behind this and wanted to share. And then my final link for today is something that was really close to me. I didn't even realize this until someone sent me this article this week about this man named Jim Haynes. And for anyone that's been to Paris, perhaps you know about him. So he is known for being this guy who has literally hosted probably approximately 150,000 people at his apartment in the 14th over the years for free dinner parties. And I actually attended one probably back in 2006 or something like that, and just found out that he passed away. A friend of mine, a colleague that lived in Paris, knew about his parties and took me to one. But he was really well known in like the 60s. He was this American who moved to Paris, and he basically started inviting people to his apartment every Sunday for these dinner parties. And he was kind of known as like the godfather of social networking before we even had social media. So, you know, people that would go, they were just asked to RSVP ahead of time. They would come, there would be an envelope if they wanted to leave a contribution, but otherwise anyone could come. So you were able to meet people from all different kinds of countries and backgrounds, people that were traveling to Paris, people that lived in Paris. This is a beautiful BBC article all about him and his background. So he'd been doing it for more than 40 years, and usually there were up to 120 guests at their peak. He actually really hated how, as the years went by, it started becoming, and people were RSVPing using technology and whatnot. He actually really hated that because he liked how it was. He liked the days when it was a lot more just kind of, you know, people would just find out about the parties every Sunday and would just show up. He didn't like the planning of it. But it's a really cool article. And another thing I wanted to say about him is that in the 80s, he founded a guidebook series for countries that were behind the Iron Curtain. So instead of like the standard descriptions of sites and hotel listings, the format was like an address book, including contact details for hundreds of in-country hosts. So the idea was that if people could not easily see the Western world themselves, he could bring it to them via travelers. And it was couch surfing in many ways, but offline. So just a really awesome, iconic man. And I just wanted to pay him a little respect because I thought it was really cool what he did over the years. And I enjoyed the one dinner party that I went to many years ago. So thanks, guys. So next up is Taryn. Hi, Taryn.
Hey everyone, I'm Taryn. I'm a beauty and wellness editor here. So today my links are all about yoga and different types of yoga that are emerging because of the pandemic. So my first link is about a new wellness trend called eye yoga. I found this great article about how scientists have recently started exploring the benefits of eye exercises, which spans from better eye focus to a heightened sense of calm. So basically you can see a little bit in this video, but it's a series of movements and exercises that people can do with their eyes, whether it's like actually moving their eyes or kind of massaging around the eyes. and it really helps to ease eye strain. And it's especially important for those who spend a lot of time at desks looking at screens. So basically all of us right now. And if you scroll down, like Michael's showing, there's some exercises that they list that you can do at home. And I thought this was really interesting because I had actually done something similar called vestibular therapy like years ago. I had a concussion and post-concussive syndrome. So I had like all these headaches every day, and I had tried a lot of different things. And I tried vestibular therapy, which was basically me just moving my eyes in different directions. And it was the only thing that really worked to get rid of my headaches. So it's really interesting to see this kind of forming from what I had considered physical therapy years ago and evolving into this daily wellness routine. And then for my second link, it's about laughter yoga. So a lifestyle and wellness coach called Yuta Devika is in Cairo, Egypt, is teaching people laughter yoga, which is a type of exercise to lift people's spirits during the pandemic. So she says, you know, there's been obviously a lot of depression and anxiety right now. So laughter is a really great solution to this problem. And doctors in California have actually tracked the effects of laughter on the brain and body. And research has shown that laughter lowers blood pressure, level of stress hormones, and as well as boosts the immune system. So basically, students can go to this park in Cairo and practice yoga. Basically, you just laugh during a variety of dances and movements. And it can also be fake laughter. She says that usually fake laughter leads to real laughter. And it's just a really calm and fun way for people to enjoy themselves. And it's a really therapeutic activity. So yeah, you can see a little bit in the video. But I just thought this was a really unique way. And both of these exercises, the laughter yoga and the eye yoga, are just really cool and innovative solutions that are kind of emerging because of the pandemic and what we're struggling with right now. And for my last link, Chipotle has launched an activewear line. So this was super cool to see because on the beauty team, we've actually been seeing a lot of skincare brands and beauty brands creating loungewear and activewear lines for their brands, really trying to connect with consumers and focus on overall wellness. We're really seeing wellness becoming the new luxury. So this seems like kind of the new evolution of that, where food chains are also looking to become more wellness oriented. But Chipotle's line features sustainable leggings, sports bras, and bike shorts that are made from recycled plastic bottles. And they come in 2 different colors with their signature jalapeno logo and a tonal print. But this line comes at a time when Chipotle has just introduced their new cilantro lime cauliflower rice, as well as 4 types of lifestyle bowls to include more plant-based options. So I think that just shows how all sorts of brands right now are really changing their business models and their practices to focus on wellness and to also appeal to more consumers.
Awesome, thank you. That paint color behind you, by the way, looks so good with your red hair.
Thank you.
Thanks, Taryn. Appreciate it. Next up, we have Melissa from LA. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Michael. Hi, everyone. The first one that I have to share with everyone is the most recent Vetmonths collection for fall winter 21-22. And Michael, you could just kind of scroll through and I'll speak through it. It's somewhat controversial because, as we know, Vetmonths has always been about statement and impact. However, some pieces in this collection, which we'll get to, there are 165 lookbook images, so it's a lot. But going back to what they were inspired by, pieces that have kind of like a blue paint on them were inspired by anti-protester police tactics, which were used in Hong Kong protests in 2019. And that was because a lot of people were fighting for Hong Kong's democracy. So I thought that it was a little bit insensitive. That's an example of the paint splatter that police would spray onto protesters so that they'd be able to identify them and then later arrest them. So I didn't love that reference. What I also thought was interesting though, was this kind of like apocalyptic version. And we did see that in women's wear from Rick Owens, from his spring 21 collection. We saw a couple other designers get into that. So I thought that the backgrounds looked kind of interesting and cool. The other thing to mention here, of course, is the fact that there are 165 looks for this collection. And that was also something that was intentional. If some of you have joined more of our trend related webinars as of kind of this pandemic and post-pandemic world that we're living in, we've encouraged a lot of our clients to kind of pare down and find meaning to every single item that you put in a collection. So I just found that it was a little bit excessive and unnecessary. I know that the brand issued a statement that basically said when everybody else is sort of paring down, we chose to be fearless with 165 looks. So just wanted to bring that.
The budget for making all of those samples. It's insane.
Crazy.
They should have done it digitally at least.
Yeah.
To address waste, but
Yeah.
we're not really known for being sustainable. So.
Okay, so my next one is a little bit more sustainable, but also a little bit controversial. And a reflection, Ezra, you had kind of mentioned earlier with the notion of kind of redesigning cities. I know that we've addressed the 15-minute city before and kind of having everything at your fingertips from your workplaces to the stores that you shop in and grocery stores. So Michael, you could just kind of scroll down. It's a video, but I think the images are as powerful. So the current mayor of Paris, her name is Anne Hidalgo. I know that we have some French partners that may be joining us today as well as clients. So I'd be interested to hear what they think of this plan. So essentially after the 2024 Summer Olympics, the plan is that she turns Champs-Élysées, which of course is this about a mile stretch street in Paris, into this area that reduces vehicles. There's a lot more gardens. She's calling it this extraordinary garden plan. And it's controversial because a lot of Parisians don't like it. It's going to reduce traffic, but there's still a lot of cars that come into Paris every day. So that's why it's not necessarily favored by everyone. I think the initiative, obviously, of something that's becoming more green to improve the air quality of the city is something that's admirable, but in real life and people needing to get to places without a train and still needing the car, I think it'll be interesting to see how it shapes up.
Yeah, I thought it looked really beautiful in the video.
Yeah.
But we know French have very strong opinions of those kinds of things.
I know, it's like maybe one of
like
those.
You lived there for years, so.
I lived there for 7 years, and it's like, I feel like, maybe it's something that now they're not gonna like, but in the end, if we look at this 15, 20 years out from now, it's gonna be something we're proud of.
Right. They don't like change.
Exactly.
No.
Okay, so next one that I have is, I think, a great one for Black History Month. It's a new film from director Lee Daniels. And it's about Billie Holiday, who of course was this amazing jazz singer, but she also represented a lot of things. She represented the Blackness in America. She used her voice to protest racism. She was a civil rights leader, an icon in fashion. She was also a gay woman. She had, of course, her hit Strange Fruit, which was about lynching in the American South. But also what's interesting, you could kind of scroll down because there's a lot of really nice images, was that in terms of wardrobe, they have a costume designer named Paolo Nidu. And Anna Wintour actually suggested for them to collaborate with Prada. So Prada created these 9 different costumes that captured kind of the elegance of style of the time. What I thought was interesting is that you'll see some familiar Prada design elements that were from collections from 2017, 2019, I believe as well. But then they really factored in what she wore, like her actual costumes that she wore, as well as like some 40s and 50s influences. So I thought that that turned out really beautifully. And if we have a little bit of time, maybe we could watch the trailer for it, which is at the top of the article.
Sure. And I remember when Prada collaborated with Baz Luhrmann when they did Great Gatsby, it was kind of a similar thing. She kind of went into the archives and used a lot of things for the costumes. So it's interesting that her designs can be looked at through a vintage lens.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved how it was like a hybrid of things that, if you studied the product collections from a couple years ago, you could see design elements, but then it's also through a lens that I think is,
right,
relates what she actually wore.
All right, we'll check out the trailer.
You know who this is. You're thinking of something more special.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to make it bigger for everyone. Hold on.
I'm downright flashy, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Billie Holiday.
Reporters keep asking me, Billie, why you do the things you do? This is what I tell them.
The NAACP says Billie Holiday is the voice of our people.
Blacks and whites sit together.
You know what you're getting yourself into when you decide to come on the road.
Get out my goddamn clothes.
I'm gonna take everything except your bra and your pants.
One of my songs is your favorite song.
Strange fruit.
It's a song about important things, things that are going on in the country.
This holiday woman is causing a lot of people to think the wrong things.
It's a starting point for this so-called civil rights movement.
Those lyrics provoke people.
Y'all got a plan?
She's a drug addict.
Exactly. Straight fruit.
I want to sing the damn song.
It's for your own good, okay?
Fuck, I want.
Signs and trees.
Get her off that stage.
They're strange fruit.
Won't let me sing nowhere. No clubs, no money, no nothing. You gotta understand, baby. Right now, I'm in a situation.
Look, you said we could beat this, Billie.
I need something now.
Blood on the leaves. You're like a hammer. Come right back and hit harder than before.
And she's singing it for all of us.
Ain't no other Negro star bold enough to do it.
Black body swinging. I'm being followed. I'm not gonna cower to no fist.
In the silent breeze. She's made something of herself and you can't take it because she's strong, beautiful, and black.
Strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. If you ever stop singing that song, your grandkids will be singing Strange Fruit.
Wow, looks great. Thanks, Melissa. All right. And we have a couple more links for today's meeting. Nia, hi Nia.
Hey guys. My name's Nia. I'm the materials editor. So the first link I have to share is something you all might have seen on your timelines in the past 2 days. I feel like I was seeing a bunch of GIFs and images of it everywhere. And it's actually Nike's latest shoe called the Nike Go Fly Ease, which is actually their first hands-free shoe. So pushing the boundary of inclusivity isn't necessarily new for Nike. For years now, we've been tracking inclusive design, and they've had other releases in general. that have fit kind of the same kind of style. But this model in particular takes it to a whole new level because it's hands-free and it has this kind of slip-in retract feature. You don't have to play some of the video, Michael, but you can kind of see from just this GIF here how it works. And I would urge you guys to watch this after, since some of the designers in the video kind of speak to the design and their process, and it's super interesting. Just a great thing to see from such a big corporation of just continuing the inclusive design movement with really innovative styles. And then the next one I have here, with it being Black History Month, I wanted to share something in the realm of Black culture with you all. So I recently came across A3, and it's a Black-owned magazine dedicated to celebrating Black and Brown artists, creatives, and visionaries. It was actually released on MLK Day, but I've seen it get a lot more traction now, of course, this month. And if you click back and forth, Michael, through, you can click on just even one of the names. There's people highlighted for their first issue, which is called the Dreamers issue. You can see photographers, there's plant influencers, there's filmmakers, artists, a couple different people that they have, all speaking to their inspiration, their culture, and their journey, as well as, you know, just being a Black creative and navigating this world, which is super inspiring to see, of course. So definitely something to keep an eye out for as they grow and kind of expand, push out more content and collaborate. But just wanted to share, and hopefully you guys can read through that and be a little bit more inspired afterwards.
Awesome. A3 magazine, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we can look it up. All right. And last but not least, Patricia. Hi, Patricia.
Hi, Michael. Hey, guys. I'm Patricia, women's wear editor, and I am super excited about this link. So this is Delcourt, a new fashion label by Daniel Delcourt, the former VIP designer for Gucci. So he has worked alongside Alessandro Michel, who's Gucci's creative director, and he has designed, you know, costumes for Bjork or the Met Gala. So basically, he's launching his new brand during Milan Fashion Week later this month. And for those of you who are familiar with our macro trends, I think, you know, this really signals and confirms the macro trend wonder, as well as serves as early indications of reciprocity. So I just think it's a really cool brand to watch. Obviously, as you can see, kind of follows more of an avant-garde aesthetic, but nonetheless, really cool, and excited to see it during Milan Fashion Week.
This is so beautiful. Patricia, let me ask you, since you're on the women's team, I know our men's fashion weeks, most of them just wrapped up and pretty much they were all digital. Are you guys seeing that a lot of the women's shows coming up in the next month are going to be kind of in this vein as well? A lot of digital showings?
I believe it will be more of a mix of digital and physical shows. I think even last season, when it was, you know, the height of COVID, we still saw some runway shows actually taking place live, except with less people in the audience. But I think it will be a mix of both digital and physical shows.
Okay, yeah, we didn't have a lot of physical shows in our menswear world, but
this one, I know that they want to do a physical show for the launch of this brand.
Oh, great. We'll look out for that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, guys, I think those are all of our links for today. Thanks so much for attending. Again, we're going to do this again on Wednesday, March 3rd. You can watch all of our previous webinars, not only show and tell, but all of our webinars. And there's more FS videos for you as well by going to our YouTube channel. The link is here. And then you can view and register for all of our upcoming events by going to fashionsnoops.com/events. Thanks so much for joining us for show and tell, and we will see you next month. Take care.